My name is Gerda, and I work in eazyBI support, but what you all know, eazyBI has a native integration with Jira and Confluence and Monday and other applications. And what it means, eazyBI understands the data. You click the import button, and it creates dimensions and measures you can create using your reports. But what to do if you have eazyBI, but your data is in some external system? You would like to analyze it as well with eazyBI. And that is the thing that I will talk about discovering data mapping and how to create your own custom cube. So my agenda for today is eat your own dog food. I will share use cases on how we in eazyBI are using custom cube. The second topic, I will introduce you with some of our eazyBI pets. Then I will show you a practical things and tips and tricks about data mapping, so you see it maybe for the first time if you haven't done it. And don't get scared. I will try to keep it short, but in the same time, I want to share a lot, so let's try to find the perfect balance there. And the last will be about what we can find in our pet back office. And are we a dog or a cat company more? So, eat your own dog food is an expression that is used when company uses its own product. Because if we are using it, we know how to improve it. And there are several ways how eazyBI is using custom cube. First is customer conversations. We use REST API to import this data into eazyBI. We create the custom cube, and we analyze the conversations. Also, we use it for importing data from Atlassian Marketplace to see your sales, tries, and licenses. But not only eazyBI as a company uses the eazyBI tool. One of my examples is Jānis Baija, my coworker. He installed solar panels, I think 1 or 2 years ago, and he's using eazyBI to see how efficient are those solar panels and are the ads true about that they will be like saving his money. Another use case is by Ilse. She's studying classic studies. I have no idea what it is, but she's very interested into this topic. And she has a master thesis about women and more representation in ancient Greek and Roman literature. And again, she uses eazyBI to define the scope of her master thesis. And well, then is me, who is asking my colleagues, like, hey, do you have any pets? What are their names? And for me, this is a personal story, because this is how I discovered for myself data mapping. And the inspiration is at home. This is my 4 cats. Yes, they are 4. Pluščis, Māsiņa, Vētra, and Friko. As you know, we are a fully remote company. So basically, I meet my cats more than my coworkers on the daily basis. And I tend to think about them as my coworkers as well, because they are very entertaining, but they are great listeners. They can annoy you also, but in the same time, they provide moral support when it is needed, and also distracts me when it is needed as well, when I need a break. And when I spend so much time at home with my pets, I can observe them, like they have some common characteristics and some different. And let's take one of them as my model. So when we think about cat, he has a name. His name is Pluščis. The owner is me, although if you would ask him, you know how it is with cats. Cats think that they are owner, but let me think that I'm the owner. So then he has a species. It's a cat. He seems that has a breed, but we don't know, so it's actually non-Mogi, because we took him from the street. He has a color. It's very specific. He's like black with a white neck. I have another black cat, but he has 2 white whiskers. And he has a birthday. It is somewhere in 2010. And gender, male. So I like structured data. So I put my data into Google Sheets. And, well, I have 4 of them. So I put all of them in my Google Sheet. And then in the eazyBI, although we are a remote company, we have our Zoom weekly meetings where I noticed some other cats who are just like walking around the neck or around over the keyboard, or you can hear some dog barking in the background. And I was wondering, what is in my colleagues' home? What is their moral support? And I made a survey, of course. And then it appears it's a long list. It's 30 animals. And remember, we are only 29. So, and I thought, how can I measure a pet? And of course, I work in eazyBI, so you see where it is going. I want to put a cat in the eazyBI. And when we want to put a cat in the eazyBI, we have to think about also eazyBI. So eazyBI is, you create custom cube, and cube is built from building blocks, that is dimensions and measures. And when we think about those building blocks, then dimensions are different ways to see your data, to structure it. So what it means, for example, I have 4 cats, 2 are male and 2 are female. So I can, one of the dimensions can be gender. Then there are metrics. And those are numerical facts that are describing those dimension members. So I have 4 cats, and then I can split like 2 are female and 2 are male. And those 2 are mandatory to have in the eazyBI cube. So at least 1 dimension and 1 measure always. And then are properties. And those are dimension member attributes. And those are things that maybe are hard to categorize, because, for example, color, one is, like, both are black, but they have their nuances, like 2 whiskers who are white and neck white. So if I don't normalize the data, it's actually just 30 entries. So that can be imported purely as properties. And if we take, again, the model plushis, then the dimensions would be name, owner, species, breed, and gender. Birthday, I can import as a measure. I will show you how can we import the data as a measure. And the property is color. So how can we put a cat in the box? Well, with a box, it's simple. You know, you put a box on the floor. After a few seconds, the cat is inside, because that's the nature of the cats. You can buy fancy houses. It doesn't matter. They want a box. But to put a cat in an eazyBI cube, we have to actually build this box from dimensions, measures, and properties. And to build a box, we need a data mapping. And that is where I will show you the practical thing about how to do it and what tools eazyBI provides. But to start, data mapping basically means that we will translate data, what I have in Google Sheets, so eazyBI understands it and can create reports. And we will be in this middle part where we are translator and telling eazyBI what is what. And the first thing, I need this data into eazyBI. I can do it with adding just a new source application. You have all seen, I think, Jira. And there's as well option to have REST API, SQL, and Google Sheet. And this is where I'm going, because it was just on, I have a laptop, I have a Google account, I have Google Sheets, so it is where I put all the data. I authorize eazyBI to access Google Sheet with my credentials. I chose the files that I have access to, the sheet, and I can even put a regular import frequency in case, a new hires come into our company. So I put a new line, and on daily basis it is updated. And then this is how it looks in eazyBI in the data source import options. I need to create the name for my custom cube. It's eazyBI pets. And then I have options how to translate what tools I have to tell eazyBI what I need for it to do. So I will start with dimensions, and while I will be presenting what we can do with dimensions when importing this information, I will show you how to clone column, how to add new calculated column, how to use JavaScript to transform data on eazyBI side, how to use the first property, it's display key, and how to create a hierarchy in this custom dimension. The first, I have a pet name. And as we know from the experience with eazyBI Janis, the name is not unique, but my pets are unique, even if they have the same name. And I want to represent them all, also my colleagues' pets. So I can adjust the data, and I can combine pet and owner dimensions together. I can clone the column, so that's the first thing that I told that I will create. And in the dimensions, just I said it will be dimension, it's a dimension. And in the JavaScript code, actually you can transform the data whatever you want to, because I chose that it will be pet name combined with pet owner name. Hopefully that Janis doesn't have like the same name for the pets, otherwise, well, it will break my logic, but that's where I can improve the logic and adjust the JavaScript. If you know JavaScript, you can just use it here and transform your data. So let's, my screen recording finish the sentence about parentheses. And as you know, see, I have created a new column, it's Plushchis, and then it's me. I can create another column. The first one I created the name column, so it's unique, and another I can set as a key column. So it contains unique values. I can use different JavaScript. It is lowercase and removes all the Latvian letters. I can drag and drop the columns, and I will import the same pet name just as a dimension, so we can see if there are some common names. And the first property, how it is defined, I say that this is describing pet dimension members. And I add property name, display key. Display key contains more user-friendly name. It doesn't have to be unique. And I will show in the reports how it looks and what functionality it brings into your report. So in the beginning, 1 column, now 4 columns. Without even going back to the Google Sheet and doing anything there, I did everything on eazyBI side. So I can import the same column in different ways. Then the owner. Again, I have 2 columns. One is name, other is surname, and I can use a new calculated field. It creates, I can give it a column name and use again custom JavaScript. In this case, I'm combining owner's name together with the owner's surname. Again, it's a simple JavaScript code, but it's very powerful because it brings together 2 columns into 1. Again, without going back to Google Sheet and like thinking, oh yeah, I needed to do something in Google Sheet, so eazyBI can read the data. Now eazyBI can adjust the data on its side. Again, yes, owner together with owner's surname, and it will create a new column. And I'm saying that this column name is owner name and surname. I will just drag and drop also. The order sometimes matter. I will tell it in the next slide why. So the dimension, how I create, I just put the name, and eazyBI understands it will be dimension. I copied the JavaScript because I will also import the same information as a property again to the pet dimension, because now I created a new dimension that is like its own entity. But also I want to have a pet and say that it is a pet dimension property. And I just add a property name, owner name, and surname. And we will see how it looks in eazyBI after a few slides. And the last, what I think is very powerful when we speak about dimensions, are this hierarchy structure. You all know we live in a time. Time contains from years, and there are quarters, months, days. Now with eazyBI, this functionality that Raymond's told, we can also create different custom hierarchies. And also in the data mapping, it can be done. So species and breed, it's like cat, and then there is a little bit more gradual view how to view cats. And what I need to do, I need to write the same dimension name in both lines, like it is the same dimension, but the difference is that I'm defining the level now. One is species, another is breed. Same dimension, different levels. And so the species will be the upper level. You may ask, how does eazyBI know that it will be the upper level? This is where the order means, like if it is on, or I'm always, if it is on this side, then it is upper levels and it's a breed, and I could actually create more hierarchy levels and go even deeper if I need. So, dimensions, that's one part. And then there are measures. I already have a hint that I will create birthdays linked to the time dimension. And while I will creating this measure, I will also show you what to do when you don't have some measure in your data, Excel data source. For example, if it is in REST API, maybe it doesn't have any measure, but there is an option what to do in this case. I will show you how it is, how you can define time dimension and why actually I put it together with measure, and how to create measure linked to the time dimension. So the first thing, if you don't have any measure, you can use append row measure. It will basically create a new column that contains only ones, so you can just count how many rows you have. And so you don't have this measure row count, you can rename it. And I renamed it to the pet count. Then, if I have a column that contains date, I can define that this date is imported as a time. So one moment. Yeah, so the second line, it's defined as a time. Time, as we know, can be only one dimension. It's true in Jira integration, in Confluence integration, and also in custom cube. So only one date can be mapped together to the time as time. What it means that together, if the date is imported as time dimension, then together with the measure, it will show the measure linked to the date. So you know how you have those story points created that are linked to the time dimension by creation date. So if you have, of course I have boring data because it's one. After the presentation I was thinking, oh, I could ask how much like your pet are waiting, but I thought that it would be a little bit too much personal information of their side. So yes, if I had like 5, 10 kilos there, then it would be also possible to display on timeline. So that is one way how you can import date. But another way how you can import the date column is you can clone it and create a date counter. So in this case, I will map it to the pet dimension, and I'm importing it as a property. So the name is birthday. So when I will pick pets, I can see their birthday. And I can create also date count measure that counts how many pets has a birthday on this same day. So that's all about measures. And the last is properties. Although if you followed the presentation, that actually we have few of the properties already. One is display key, another was owner name and surname. And then now I created also birthday. Yeah, I think 3, maybe I missed, no, 3. So, so I thought, yes, I will just show you how the color is imported. So again, you define the dimension to which you want to link this property and define the property name. Then, if I want, I can actually clone some more columns and also import them as properties. And that's it about the properties. And the moment of truth, the data import. I just press the Start Import button. It asks if I want to import data in eazyBI Pets Cube, how I named it in the beginning. The import is happening, and we can go to the Analyze tab and see the cube. We press New Report, and we see all the dimensions that I've defined. I will check if I have all the pets, so 30, it seems correct. I will remove the pet count because it duplicates the same values. Remember the display key, this is where it happens. You can say, I want to show key, and it has a user-friendly name. And here we can see all the custom properties that I've defined, pet owner name, surname, species, and we can see a list of all of our pets. And it's good that I imported this unique name, like pet name with owner, because we have two Vatras or storms in our company, but they're quite an opposite animals. Robert's Vatra is super friendly dog, and it's a black dog. My cat has a do not touch me attitude. Seriously, strangers be aware, don't touch her. And she's a white cat, and always having a little bit judgmental look on me. So, what can we find in eazyBI Pet back office? Well, when you import the data into the eazyBI, you have full functionality of eazyBI. One more thing, what I wanted to show here, the hierarchy. So we have two levels, species and breed, and we can expand them and see that there are some breeds under cats and dogs. About the functionality, I can sort and see that, yeah, we have a lot of cats. Let's see the percentage. So I can add standard calculation, percentage of total. I can edit it to see only integer numbers. And as I mentioned, it has full functionality of eazyBI. I can go to the chart, adjust the look so it looks prettier. So I like to display percentage as scatter in gray with a data label. And we can answer the question, yes, we are now cat company, because with a recent colleague, we had 4 new cats. And then, so I'm not the only one. And then I can also have my favorite thing, I think, in eazyBI is conditional chart formatting. I can use custom formula just to see different pet names in different colors, because I like colors. So there are dogs, there are guinea pigs, there are fish, and there is a hedgehog. And if it's neither of them, it will be default cat color blue. So, nice looking chart. The hardest part actually was the date mapping. And yes, my personal surprise was that we are not only cats and dogs, but we have also Paws, a hedgehog. And my favorite name of our pets is the last two, because it's gin and tonic as my favorite cocktail. And again, you have calculated measures in eazyBI using this imported data. And I can see average age. My first surprise was that we don't have only cats and dogs. The second surprise was when I put birthdays on timeline. You see the oldest cat. It's 97. Yes, it's still alive. It's Murcis, 26 years old cat. His owner, Jānis Liepa, one of our developers, is saying that he was saying that yes, he inherited it from his wife, grandmother, and he will be passing most probably it to his children. And as I mentioned, we have 30 pets. We have 29 employees. I have 4 cats. As mentioned, one of my colleagues also have 4. So what is our top owner who has the most pets? Yes, it's Ilse, because with her recent move, she got also the dog under her roof. Luckily, they all live in the countryside. Well, I'm in the second place. That happens when 2 cat people with cats meet and come together, then, well, it's a responsibility. And in the third place, it's Raimons, our CEO. He has 2 dogs at least, not only cats. And I think Raimons has the second my favorite name in our pet back office. It's Beta, you know, like versions beta. And I want to say thank you to all the 30 animals and their owner who shared a lot of stories. I have a lot of cat-like pictures already, but now I have even more. And all the funny stories that I don't have time to share, but well, you will have time and opportunity in networking to ask those questions. And my takeaway, try eazyBI Custom Cube. Find the data you are really interested in and you know really good, like maybe that is conferences you have visited or countries where you traveled or books you read or, I don't know, favorite cocktails in the company. Prepare the data. Think about like what you want to measure and what dimensions could be. I would suggest to take a smaller set in the beginning, like I took all my 4 cats and then I just tried if it works before asking all my colleagues about the information. Remember to have at least 1 dimension and 1 measure. Try, play, fail, and try again, and have a lot of fun with this option. So thank you, and do you have any questions?